Hello there, my Stampin' friends. Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a Stampin' Show and Tell for you today, and we're going to be using two new items. We're going to use the Birchwood 3D embossing folder, and we're going to use the Caring Leaves stamp set. So I'm going to make a fall theme card, right? That makes sense. And I'm also using this for one of my swaps. So I'll have some fun new fall catalog ideas to share on my website for you. So don't forget to pop on over and watch as I propagate my demo swap feed in the coming weeks. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Today I'm going to be using Cajun Craze as my card base, and I'm making it so it opens up and down. So this is an 11 by 4 1/4, and I just scored it at 5 1/2. So I'm just going to give that a crease there. Now I'm pairing this with Very Vanilla. So I have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 for the front, and I have a piece of 3 3/4 by 5 for the inside. Okay, now the first thing I decided I wanted to do was do some stamping and cut out my images. So I'm going to do some stamping on Very Vanilla, and I want to show you how these stamps work together as two-step stamping. Okay, so I have my broadleaf, and I have an old olive ink pad, and then I have my other broadleaf, and I have my Cajun Craze ink pad. So I'm using Cajun Craze because that's the color of my card, and then I'm pairing it with Old Olive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp two of these, I'm going to call them oak leaves, they look like oak leaves to me. I'm going to stamp two of those in the Cajun Craze. And then I'm going to stamp one of these other leaves in the Old Olive. Okay, now you can see from the stamp set image that those are the solid stamps. Now, we also have outline images, okay? And so what I'm going to do with these outline images is I'm going to stamp over the top of these, two-step stamping, and then I'm going to emboss with my gold. So I'm going to take this curvy leaf here, line this up over the top, and stamp with my Versamark. And then I'm going to take this one and place it over the top of these two leaves. So I'm just kind of shooting for the edge of my stamp to line up. Okay, it's kind of a whimsical two-step, so it doesn't have to be exact. Let's see, there's that one. Okay, so let me close this. Now I'm going to dust this with my gold emboss powder. Because it's being a swap, I've got lots of this in my tray right now. So I'm just going to push this under and shake my gold emboss across my cardstock, tap off the excess so I don't waste a whole bunch and I don't get it everywhere I don't want it. And then I'm just going to bring in my heat gun and I'm going to emboss these real quick. So stand by while I get these all glossed up. Alright, so then after I emboss, I kind of hold it to the light and make sure that I actually got everywhere and I don't have any powder kind of left to blow off. So it looks pretty good. Okay, so from here I'm going to take my paper snips and trim these out just around the edges and create three embellishments that I'm going to use on the front of my card. So these aren't too bad. These do not have coordinating dies, but you know, it's pretty curvy images. And there's not a lot of them, so just use those paper snips, trim around your edges, and create your own well, they're not die cut, but trimmed out images that you can use as embellishments on your card, or in this case, they're going to be our focal point on the card. I really like the paper snips. I've used them for years now, and I've never had to sharpen mine. Sometimes I have a pair that'll get gummed up from adhesive, but for the most part, mine are all pretty good. So, alright, one more. Come in here, get close. So, and in this kind of an image, I'm okay with a little ghost line around the edge, right? A little vanilla. And because I'm going to put it on a vanilla background, it's going to blend right in. I'm not going to worry about too much contrast between the edge of where I'm cutting and the background I'm putting down. So, every project's different. Sometimes I want it nice and close. Sometimes I don't care. So you decide when you're doing your project. Remember, these are just my ideas and hints. It's just not mean that you need to do it exactly the same way. They're your cards. You make them your way. Okay, so I've got my 3 little leaf cutouts. Alright, so now let's go back to our card base. So I also said I wanted to use the birchwood embossing folder. And so I've already pre-embossed this. And so if you can see, it's got the bark lines on there. So you could use either side. I think I'm going to put this side up. So I'm going to put that on with my liquid adhesive. Now, part of the reason I'm putting this one on with liquid adhesive is I want to put my leaves that I just trimmed out on with dimensionals. So I don't want to do too many layers with dimensionals because then our cards get too thick. Okay, so I've got that, and I'm just going to plate this in the middle so it's framed in on my base. Pretty typical background, just framed in on that colored cardstock base, and I'm just going to press that down. Alright, so now I've got dimensionals to add. So I've got 3 leaves, and I'm just going to create a trio of leaves on my project. Okay, so I'm going to put the green one in the middle because I've got one of those. And then I'm going to put one of each of the Cajun Craze on the outside. Okay, now I've already done some die cutting with my stylish shaped dies, and I've got this little banner one here. Now, the stamp set comes with 2 sentiment stamps. One says, "Some things never change," and the other one says, "You're simply the best." So I'm going to put "Some things never change" on the front on this little banner. I'm going to use Cajun Craze, keeping with my card base color. Put this in the middle. Okay, and then this one I'm going to pop up on mini dimensionals. I think the wide ones work just as well. I'm just going to do mini ones for this one though because I have them on the table. 1, 2, 3. Now I had some pretty twine or metallic string or ribbon, thread. I might curl some of that behind there, but I don't have any of that handy right now, so I'm just going to put that across there. Okay, so now the inside. We've got a dark inside. I'm going to do some inside stamping, which I haven't done lately, and I realized, why did I stop doing that? So we're going to do some inside stamping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the sentiment first. Right in the middle, "You're simply the best." Okay, then I'm going to do a background stamp over that image. So what I'm going to do is, I've got my stamp, which is the same color, Cajun Craze. I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to stamp over. So see, you kind of get that lesser ghosted image behind. Then I'm going to do the same thing with my other leaf. Ink, stamp off, add, ink, stamp off, add. So it's kind of the reverse pattern from the front, because in the front we did 2 of the Cajun Craze and 1 of the green. So on the inside, I did the opposite. Okay, and so that is just going to go right here in the middle. And that, my friends, will be our project for today. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the show and tell, and I hope you enjoy some fun new projects with this new Caring Leaves stamp set, and I'd love to know what you're doing it with your project. So send me an email or shoot me a picture, and I would love to see it. Alright guys, until next time, do find some fun stamping, and if you have any questions, please reach out with a comment or find my email below and send me an email. Alright guys, have a great day.